Number 10. Uber rejection. A male Uber driver found himself in an extremely awkward situation in September 2020 after the female passenger he picked up started punching him in the face. He was going about 60 miles per hour or just under 100 kilometers per hour when the assault happened. But why was she trying to hit him? Well, the driver refused to spend the night with her. She was beyond drunk. Being a gentleman and a professional, he politely rejected her, but that really pissed her off. She lashed out in anger and started to sock him while they sped down the highway. The name of the drunk attacker is Emma Cope from Australia. She was on her way home when she climbed from the back seat into the front seat and then proceeded to offer herself to the Uber driver. This sounds like something that only happens in the movies or in every Uber driver's wildest fantasy. When the driver refused the proposition, Emma started punching him in the head. Since the incident, Emma has been taken to court, where she said that she was intoxicated and couldn't even remember what had happened. In any event, Emma was found guilty of drunken assault and given 200 hours of community service, plus she was ordered to pay $1,200 in compensation. Talk about embarrassing. Number 9. Need a ride? Samantha Josephson thought she was getting picked up by an Uber driver. Instead, she got picked up by Nathaniel Rowland, and his vehicle was a death trap. Samantha got into the black Chevrolet Impala at 1:30 on a Friday night. Investigators are still trying to piece together what exactly happened, but it was most likely horrific. Samantha's body was discovered about 65 miles or just over 100 kilometers away from where she requested an Uber. It was dumped in the woods off the side of a dirt road. Wounds covered her entire body. She had obviously fought for her life, only to lose it. According to the LA Times, after she entered the vehicle, Nathaniel activated the child locks. It was the night after Samantha was kidnapped when local Columbia officers discovered Nathaniel's black Chevrolet Impala just 2 blocks from where Samantha had originally been taken. He tried to run but was quickly arrested. Samantha's blood and cell phone were found inside of his trunk, and he has since been charged with kidnapping and murder. Let this be a reminder to everyone to be safe. Always check the license plate number for their Uber and make sure it matches the car they're about to get into. That way, nobody accidentally gets into the car. Number 8. 5 stars for trying to kidnap me. I guess things like stranger danger and don't get in a car with a stranger really seem a little obsolete nowadays due to things like Uber, right? Wrong. Uber drivers are still strangers and there's still danger. A former Uber driver was recently charged with kidnapping one of his customers. A man named Kamal Esalak allegedly locked a woman in the back of his car and tried to keep her there against her will. Esalak was recently released, with his attorneys claiming the entire incident is just a huge misunderstanding. They say that Kamal had been driving for Uber for a while before the incident and never had any problems. The victim accused him of trapping her inside his car, saying some really strange things to her and then refusing to let her out. Yeah, sounds like kidnapping to us. The woman was brave and managed to climb into the front seat and out of one of the front doors, where she then ran down the street for her life. It's not clear what motivated a successful Uber driver to randomly kidnap one of his customers or what exactly his intentions were at the time, but he has been removed as a driver for Uber. Number 7. Did somebody order a nap? Typically, when you order an Uber, you're not the one driving it. In India in 2020, a passenger was recently forced to drive the car that she had ordered for herself after her driver fell asleep at the wheel. According to a report from the India Times, falling asleep at the wheel is more of a problem than most people realize. This is more true for Uber and taxi drivers who work extremely long hours and get super tired. Teyaswini Divyanak ordered an Uber to take her to Mumbai, but her driver kept nodding off and just barely missed crashing into other cars in the middle of traffic. Naik was obviously scared for her life. The driver was so tired that he let the woman switch seats with him and drive the car all the way to Mumbai while the driver sat in the passenger seat and took a nap. When she reached her location, she told the driver that she was not paying for the service he definitely did not provide, and we can't blame her. What would you do in this situation? Let us know in the comments down below, and if you're liking this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Number 6. What a shock. What started as a sloppy carjacking turned into a literal nightmare. We aren't sure how two teenage girls got a hold of a stun gun and the psychotic idea to use it on an Uber Eats driver in the first place, but that's what happened in Washington, D.C. near National Park. The girls, only 13 and 15 at the time of the crime, are facing felony charges. 66-year-old Mohammed Anwar of Springfield, Virginia, was identified as the victim. It's unclear exactly what happened inside the car, but here's the theory. The teens got into the car. Anwar thought that they were just getting the food, but they wanted the car instead. They used the stun gun on him. Anwar felt the intense bolt of electricity and he hit the gas. The car lost control, crashed, and flipped on its side, causing major damage. According to NBC Washington, Anwar was an immigrant from Pakistan who arrived in the United States in 2014 to build a better life for him and his family. Unfortunately, the incident resulted in the driver's death. The two girls, on the other hand, were totally fine, besides being charged with carjacking and murder. Number 5. Corona Cruise. Right in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, a crazy lady in San Francisco decided to cough all over her Uber driver. The Uber driver simply told the woman that she needed to have her mask on if she was going to be a passenger in his car. She refused. She had some friends in the car with her, and they all started being extremely rude to the driver. Not exactly the smartest or kindest thing to do to someone that's helping you out and giving you a ride. Good thing the Uber driver had his phone camera on and was able to capture the whole disturbing situation. Anya Kimiai can be seen in the video deliberately coughing on the driver from the back seat, then reaching up and attacking the man and ripping off his mask. She even tried grabbing his phone from him. Before getting out of the vehicle, she also sprayed pepper spray all over the inside of the car. What should have been a normal Uber ride turned into an assault and an attempted robbery. After showing the video to police, Anya Kimiai was charged with one count of attempted robbery and another count of assault on a transportation driver. According to the New York Post, the woman faces up to 16 years in prison and at least $3,000 in fines. The driver was okay, but the same can't be said for Anya Kimiai if she ends up in prison for coughing on the back of someone's head. Number 4. The self-driving Uber. It's not really a secret that Uber is trying to replace their drivers with cars that drive themselves, but they have a long way to go. In 2020, the backup safety driver who had been behind the wheel of a self-driving Uber car pleaded not guilty to negligent homicide, even after he was charged with the crime. If you're wondering what happened, it's pretty disturbing. While in the driver's seat of the car, which of course was driving itself at the time, the car ran over a pedestrian. Sadly, the pedestrian died, and the authorities are saying that it was the backup driver's fault for being negligent. This was the first fatal collision featuring a self-driving car to ever happen. Technically, it was the car itself that ran the pedestrian over when it should have stopped automatically to avoid the person. But since the backup driver was behind the wheel at the time and was literally there to make sure the car drove safely, he is the one being blamed. Kinda makes sense, right? Since you can't really charge a vehicle with a crime. There are no jails for robots or machines, as of yet. Nobody wants to get inside of an Uber that occasionally runs people over either. Uber has put in extra safety precautions since the incident, such as 2 backup drivers instead of 1. But after this, we're not sure that really makes people feel any safer. Number 3. Bicycle catastrophe. Businesswoman Miss Poynton recently got into some trouble when she ordered up an Uber to take her through the city. It was a totally normal drive, until it wasn't. When the car came to stop to let her out, she opened the door and a guy on a bike smashed into it. The cyclist was thrown from his bicycle and suffered bruising to his back and legs. He needed to be treated for multiple rib fractures at the nearest hospital. Oh, and to make it worse, the poor guy on his bike was 84 years old. Now, this might seem like a pretty clear case of accidental assault using a car door, because of course Miss Poynton clearly didn't mean to hurt anyone. Nonetheless, the injured cyclist sued both the woman and the Uber driver. They have both been ordered to pay him over $8,000 in compensation. Number 2. Pull over, CHEECH. A woman had called an Uber for a ride and ended up having one of the worst experiences in her life. Everything was fine until her driver started swerving across the road. She could see in the rearview mirror that his eyes were completely closed. It looked like he was either asleep or had smoked a little too much grass. And to make things even stranger, there was another passenger passed out in the front seat, which she later found out was his girlfriend. It appeared that they had been partying a little too hard and were in desperate need of a nap, but had instead decided to drive some innocent strangers around town. The woman passenger recorded the whole thing with her phone, and she can even be heard in the video pleading with the driver to pull over and let her take the wheel because his erratic driving was scaring her. When she asks the man if he's falling asleep, he simply turns to her with his eyes half open and says, "Nah." The passenger continues to beg the guy, telling him that she has a kid at home and isn't interested in dying. She ended up getting to her destination in one piece, but she no doubt left a horrible review. Number 1, I quit. It's not easy driving for Uber Eats. In February of 2021, a driver posted a heartbreaking clip online that shows just how hard it can be to drive for Uber, and how every single trip has the potential to go wrong. Riley Elliott's video went viral, and the story that he detailed to the world is nothing short of appalling. Elliott spent 45 minutes and a lot of stress dropping off an order for a customer, only to get $1 out of it. First, his customer refused to meet him outside of his building, causing Riley to pay $3 for parking. Considering that he only made $2.50 from Uber Eats and another $1.50 from his customer, plus all the time he wasted arguing with the guy and paying for parking, he only walked away with a single dollar, meaning he basically worked for $1 an hour. And yeah, that is a lot less than minimum wage. It's pretty amazing to think that while we sit on our couches having food delivered to us through Uber Eats, the drivers are still making so little. It's unlikely we'll see any changes in the near future, but for real, if you're getting a delivery to your apartment, just meet the guy outside, you lazy bum. Thanks for watching. What's your most horrifying Uber experience? Let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and come back soon. See you next time. Bye!